war in Ukraine. Another reason why the United States likes war in Ukraine is because as long as we are creating weapons and sending weapons to Ukraine, we're practicing for a future global conflict that we might have to carry out against China. It's no small feat to send tanks 7,000 miles across an ocean. It's no small feat to create ammunition loaded into C-17s and then fly them as a fleet by fleet into Poland and then carry out the logistical challenges of delivering that material to the front lines. We're practicing war.
I mean,
without fighting it.
I feel like we would have that down pretty good now after 20 years of war all over the Middle East.
The difference is we had our own bases in the Middle East. If we go to war, who's the most likely person we're going to go to war with?
China.
China. China is 15,000 miles away. 15,000 miles away. Afghanistan is half that distance. And we have bases in Afghanistan. We don't have any bases in China. The nearest that we would be able to get is actually the Philippines, where we would have to have a presidential allowance by the Filipino president to use their bases, right? And that's happening right now. So we would have to borrow and coordinate diplomatically with a host nation to be able to deliver our weapons to that country, which is exactly what we're doing in Poland right now, right? They're not our bases. We're working with the Poles. So it's a different kind of beast. 7,000 miles is very different from 15,000 miles. You're talking about multiple aerial refuelings. You're talking about months on if you're delivering something by sea. You're talking about multiple stops if you're delivering something by air, right?
I mean, it would just be a quick stop in Ramstein, Germany.
We would like to think of it. So a quick stop in Ramstein, Germany for 25 aircraft to then deliver weapons into a hostile zone and into a non-American controlled base, right?
Okay.
It's very different than what we had in the Middle East.
All right.
Right? And who were we combating in the Middle East? Terrorists, not organized nation states and national armies.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden, you send a C-17 into Afghanistan and you have to worry about small arms fire, and you have to worry about whether or not they got their hands on some kind of shoulder-carried, shoulder-mounted anti-aircraft. Delivering something to Taiwan or the Philippines, you got to get near China. You got to go near China's allies, and you have ships at sea that have anti-aircraft weapons. You have laser-guided munitions. You have hypersonic missiles. It's a very different risk element.
That's a damn good point.